And how you guys doing? Welcome to Champ's Corner. Every Monday I come to you guys live talking about business sales, increasing income. We're coming up off the weekend as usual. This is always, I do this show on Mondays to jumpstart everybody, to get ready for their week and to get, pumped up, ready to go, throwing some tips, strategies, and tactics out there for, business owners, entrepreneurs, people that are looking to find ways to increase their income. And basically, we're coming off this crazy, hectic weekend that we got uh, we got thrown out of whack with this whole. Now it's not even, if it's not one thing, it's another. First it was the whole, virus, and now it's the protesting and all this craziness that happened with the murder of George Floyd, which is, it's been going. It's things like this have been going on for a while, and I don't want to. I don't want to get too much into this, but things have been going on like this for a while, and I think it's to the point where it's reached its peak, and things are going to be. Hopefully, things will take a change and a turn for the better. And this actually went worldwide. This went global this time. So this incident went global. It went worldwide, and I really believe, I was talking to a few people about this, that they're gonna use this scenario as an example. They're gonna showcase, these officers that did what they did, and I really believe they're gonna make an example out of them. Just for the impact that and the entire. I don't even know what to say as far as what to call it. What they created is just, incredible. What the decisions and the choices that they made. This is going back to what I always say as far as the choices you make, end up reflecting what ends up happening, the outcome, whether it's positive or negative. And in this case, it could be both. We could be seeing a positive. I always try to look for the positive out of every negative situation. It might be a positive situation that comes out of this. Maybe this is something that happened, and now because of it, it's going to end up turning into a more positive scenario. A lot of people are coming together. Despite the riots and all of that, which is a whole nother subject. But there's a lot of people that are coming together. There's a lot of people that are uniting, and there's a lot of unity. So there's a lot of positive to take from this. And I just wanted to touch on that for a second. And getting back to what the reason for me coming on and talking on Mondays, and the whole concept of the show is just ways to, again, increase income. I talk business, I talk sales, two of the subjects I know an incredible amount of and about. And I deliver this in terms of reaching out to you guys and giving you guys some great tips and strategies on how you guys can help make your business better, how you guys can help make your sales careers grow from whatever standpoint you're at. And as far as increasing income, the same thing. Now, why did I also bring up that scenario as far as what's been going on over the weekend? And to be honest with you, what's been going on for the last 4 months? People have been locked up. People have been locked in their homes. We've been under, between curfew, between restrictions, between social distancing, between all these rules that have been set in place, businesses closing down, businesses being put on hold, people having to work from home, people losing their jobs, people being on furlough, so being on basically paid leave, people having to file for unemployment, businesses having to get loans and everything. We've been hit with so much these last, I would say, 4 months, that it's very easy to get caught up in discouragement. It's very easy to get caught up in distractions. It's very easy to get caught up in negativity and being negative. It's a lot of things that are going on that can create, as I mentioned, a lot of discouragement. So if you have a business, it could be very well, where you're thinking, okay, how am I going to get through this? Is this ever going to end? And if it does, will I still be around when at the end of the tunnel? Will I end up being able to see that light at the end of the tunnel? And I think that's the case for a lot of people right now. I think a lot of people are very concerned with everything that's going on and how it's affecting, because besides everything that's been going on as far as our health, as far as our health and safety in regards to the virus, and in regards to the purpose that everybody's, really, really putting a lot of effort in as far as the protesting and making statements and trying to get that change and trying to get their voices heard. And amongst that, wanting things to be just, looking for justice. Besides all of that, we still have our lives. We still have our responsibilities. We still have our obligations, to our families, to work, to our bills. We still have to keep pushing forward despite everything else that's going on. We still have to stay focused. We still have to continuously push forward, because it's our obligation. It's things that we're faced with as far as responsibilities. So I mean, as much as we care and as much as we want to dedicate to things like that, we still have things that we need to still remain focused on, which is the purpose of this show really today, is that I want to talk about how to stay focused. How, if you're in business, if you're in sales, how do you stay focused throughout all of this? And how can you not allow not only this stuff to affect you, but everything that's going to be spiraling from it, okay, stemming from it. So as I mentioned before, everything has consequences. So things that are happening right now, we're going to see a spiral. We're going to see it's cause and effect. We're going to see effect from this. So whether it's going to be a good effect or a negative effect, I'm talking about now as far as financially and business wise for companies and things like that. I mean, think of it. We have now curfews that are popping up in different cities. So businesses are having to close down a lot earlier than they were before. People who are working are now having to get off early now because their businesses are having to shut down. I mean, look, I'll give an example. McDonald's and Burger King, they don't close for anything. Mainly McDonald's. They're open 24/7. For me to see McDonald's closing their doors at 8 o'clock last night, at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, I think it was 10 o'clock the night before, people having to get out of the line and go away because police officers were coming, knocking on people's doors and basically telling them, you need to shut your business down right now. It's a citywide curfew. You got to shut down. For that to happen, it's pretty serious. And for that to happen now, as I mentioned, you're having people having to make that shift now. So people are losing hours because they're not able to work as long. And businesses are having to shut down. So there's a lot of things that are going to be stemming from this. Again, the purpose of today's topic is how you're going to stay focused. So what I want to talk about first is as far as what's happened. We could sit here and we could complain. We could sit here and try to keep track of everything that's going on outside of what it is that our responsibilities and the scope is as far as what it is that we need to focus on, or we could start getting focused and we could start handling things that we need to take care of and again, our responsibilities. Now, what I mean by that is this. You had some people that did, you had some people that didn't have New Year's resolutions. So we all had goals that we set early on in the year. If you're in business, you had you had goals for your business and for your company of where you wanted to be at by this month, which is the halfway point. We're in June already. So you had the halfway point of where you wanted to be at. Nobody thought that the virus was going to get this big. Nobody even had an idea about the virus other than it being from, other than it being in China and China only, I think back in January. So nobody really knew anything as far as what's happened the last 3 or 4 months that's going on right now. Nobody had any clue. So the goals that you had for your business, the goals that you had if you're in sales, the goals that you had as far as, what you wanted to do by the summer, whether it was to go on a vacation, go on a cruise, travel and things like that, all things like that, everything that you had in your mind earlier this year, all got switched around in a matter of 3-4 months. Now, what does that mean? What that means is it doesn't mean that you're not able to focus on handling that. It just means you just got to make a shift. So if you're in business, all right, let's say you got a company and your goal was to hit a certain number by the end of the year. Okay, you need to start making the plans now, and you need to start writing new goals down. Okay, this would be number one. I'm gonna give you guys 3 tips. Number one should be you need to start writing goals now of what position you're in right now and what you're gonna do to get into a better position by 6 months from now, by the end of the year. Okay, because I would say these last 3-4 months, it's thrown a lot of people off tremendously. And by it throwing you off, you're very, very much unfocused right now. I believe last week I mentioned, I used it as an analogy that, it's kind of like getting hit. Like if you're in an accident and you're just like, you're all in shock right now. So you don't know what the hell's going on. And that being said, you need to refocus. And you just need to start sitting down and just start writing down new goals. So by the end of the year, I want to do this number. I need to do X, Y, and Z. Now, writing the new goals is accordance to what it is that is the position that you're in right now. Forget about what happened 6 months ago. Forget about what happened 3 months ago and 4 months ago. Okay, we're talking about today. So June 1st today, all right, you need to sit down and you need to say, okay, this is where my business is at. If you're in sales, you could do the same thing, just relate it to whatever it is you're selling or your position as far as, being a salesperson. So this is where I'm at right now. And these are the actions that I need to take in order to get to where I want to be at by the end of the year. So by November, December, this is where I want to be at. And these are the actions that I need to take in accordance to what it is that I'm able to do and the changes that have happened in the last 3-4 months. Okay. So people are not meeting face to face anymore. Now we have Zoom meetings. So that's one change. Another change is not everybody's back in working mode right now as far as in the office. A lot of people are working from home. That's another change that's happened. That means you're able to maybe reach out to a lot more people than you were able to before because you know where they're at and people are more in tune to a lot of things that are going on right now. Not to mention, it's a lot easier to communicate with people because you know where everybody's at this point. Not a lot of people are going out anymore. Not a lot of people can go out. I believe they were supposed to open the beaches. Actually, yeah, they were supposed to open the beaches down here in Miami today, but because of the whole protesting and the whole, riots and the curfew that was in place and everything like that, they postponed that. So there's a lot of restrictions that are still around, and it's the shift that you're going to be making that's going to determine what's going to end up happening to you and what's going to it's going to reflect on the goals that you're going to be setting right now. So what you want to do is you want to set the goals again in accordance to the current situation and where you see it going from this point going forward. Do I think it's going to completely open up by the end of the year? I think it's going to be a while before we see things to the way that we saw things before. It's going to be a while before that happens. So you have to make that transition and you have to write your goals down in accordance to the transition that in the direction that we're going in. Now, like I said, things have become a lot more easier as far as communication, but things have also become a little bit more difficult in regards to other things. All right. So it's just how you're going to, I'm speaking generally right now. So, I mean, this is not geared towards one specific industry or one specific business, or if you're selling a product or service. This is just all in general, it's just, I mean, there's no, I could sit here and I can go based off of the industry. You need to focus on this. You need to focus on that. If you're selling this, you need to focus on this. You need to focus on that. But as a whole, and just generally speaking, people are going to have to make changes in accordance to fitting what it is that I'm saying in accordance to their business, what it is they're selling, whether it's a product or service, what industry they're in, whether it be retail, whether it be real estate, whether it be, home improvement services. Whether it be, products or services geared toward the industrial or whatever it is. Okay, software, so forth. So that's number one. You got to write your goals down and you got to write new goals down. So forget about what your goals were before. Scratch that. Start from today and start pushing forward from there. Next thing is you need to see where you're at. So before you write your goals down, you got to sit back and you have to think, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I'm trying to get to. See, I need to know where I'm at first. I can't say I'm trying to get over here and I don't even know where I'm at right now. All right. And I had to learn how to do that because I was so focused, and people who know me know that I'm so focused in trying to get things done that I had to learn. I learned this a while back, that I need to reset. I need to hit that reset button. I need to say, okay, here's where I am. Here's where I am, Danny. So a lot of times I do this all the time. I have to sit back for a second and say, okay, this is where I want to be at. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to focus on, and this is where I want to end up. But where am I? So I need to shift. I need to take that moment to step back and just look to see where I am, so I can make sure, number one, I'm on track, and number two, I'm structured well enough so I could continuously keep pushing forward, and I'm not like they say, that hamster on a wheel where I'm just moving and moving and moving and nothing's coming from it. All right. So this is going to be probably before you even write your goals. Well, I would say you could either do this before, you could do this after, but you need to determine where you are. I would say actually after, because it's very important that you're going to have to write your goals down. You're going to have to see where you want to end up, but then you're going to have to circle back and you have to say, okay, this is where I'm at. So now I know how to fill the gaps. And that's the next thing that I want to talk about as far as filling the gaps. And that's where the action comes in. So if you know you got a company and you know you want to end up doing X amount of deals by the end of the year, you want to hit X number in sales by the end of the year, knowing that we've made this shift, taking the necessary action behind that is going to be very important, because that's going to help fill that gap. So you're going to say, okay, well, I want to end up here. I'm here, but you got this gap that you're going to have to fill. Now, the actions that you take are going to be able to fill that gap to either bring you closer to make that happen a lot faster, or it's going to bring you closer to hit you right on target and right on track, which is, getting into, projections and stuff like that, which, that's for another subject. That's for another topic. But making sure you fill that gap. Now, you could do that a number of different ways. You end up increasing your sales volume. So you end up, there's a lot of people looking for work right now. So I would say if you're looking to hire salespeople, now would be the best time to do it. You have a lot of people out there that need jobs. Obviously you're going to want to put some training into place. You're going to have to get some, some software, which is, something that we actually just started offering now, which is, to keep everybody in sync with one another. And if you guys want to check that out, by the way, go to the company website, TRIWORLD.com/CRM tools. And you guys will see two types of software that we're offering right now to keep everybody in sync with one another. It's very beneficial to a lot of companies, and we're gonna be tossing this out a lot. Coming within these coming days, weeks, and months, because people need this again now more than ever, because everybody's not together right now. Everybody's separate, especially remote teams. I mean, it's a great piece of software. You guys could check that out on the website. But what I'm getting to is when you have a company, like let's say you're in business, you got a company and you're wanting to hit that number by the end of the year, you got to make sure you know what it is that you're going to have to do that's necessary in order to make that happen. Now, going back to what I was saying as far as hiring salespeople, right? There's a lot of salespeople right now that need work. Now, you're going to have to incorporate a lot of things as far as, getting them trained right, having them understand how to work remotely. There's a whole new, this is a whole new type of strategy. It's not something that a lot of people are familiar with. People are normally familiar with coming into an office and doing their day-to-day routine and their day-to-day, duties. So, I mean, waking up now and having to work from home, or working remote and doing things differently and not showing up to people's businesses and having meetings face to face and doing it through Zoom or Google and whatever it is that you use, Skype or whatever. Things have changed, so you have to incorporate that with the people that you're hiring. But like I said, salespeople, there's gonna be a lot of opportunity for salespeople to jump on board with companies, and there's a lot of opportunity for companies to bring salespeople on. Now, that's one way to do it. You have the other way, which is the marketing standpoint. But it's like I was telling a lot of people before, marketing right now is becoming very, very, very saturated, because everybody's understanding that things have changed, And they're also taking advantage of the fact that everybody's online right now. That's why it's become so saturated. So the fact that it's changed, now people are wanting to gear and make that shift more so now than ever towards the digital aspect of advertising. Not a lot of people are on the roads. So unless you're doing TV commercials, billboards and that route pretty much died down for right now. But as far as the digital aspect, like there's a lot of companies coming on. I'm seeing it, you know, and I talked with my one of my partners earlier, and we had a conversation about this also, and he was telling me that it's a huge leap in the amount of companies that have jumped on board with digital marketing and getting services done, whether it be through social media, Google, and so forth. I mean, they're jumping on board like crazy. So what's this doing is it's increasing the demand. So by it increasing demand, prices go up. Now it's going to be a little bit more money in order to be able to compete with whatever competitors you have, having an online presence, marketing out to your customers online than it was before, because a lot more people are using it and a lot more people are spending a lot of money and investing a lot of money into that because they have no other choice. They have no other alternative. Some people don't have sales teams like that. They just have customer service reps. They rely strictly on marketing. The fact that their competitors and everybody's jumping on board, now they're spending a lot more money. The fact that everybody is on social media right now because there's not a lot of other things that are going on, between news and all the media coverage and everything that's gearing people towards going online to keep up to date with, again, all the negativity that's going on. The fact that people are online right now, a lot of companies are taking advantage of that. Now, filling that gap, you could do both. You get your salespeople on board and you do marketing, or you just start dumping money into marketing. But the only way that you're going to be able to see the increase in what it is that I was talking about, that end goal that you set. So when you sit down and you write your goals down and you're determining the gap that you need to fill, the only way that's going to happen is increasing your sales through getting your sales team on, set straight and on board, and having a good understanding of how to operate now with the changes that's happened, or hiring a sales team if you didn't have one before, or going the marketing route and going full-fledged marketing, whether it be, like I said, through social media, Google, and whatnot, and I mean, those are, like I said, those are the only two ways. I mean, you could hit up other avenues as far as, reaching out to people, messaging people. I mean, a lot of people are online right now. So if you are looking for customers, I mean, there's going to be a lot of opportunity just, sparking up a conversation with somebody. Matter of fact, I can tell you this, and I'll throw a freebie out there. You got a lot of people who would actually rather respond to something that they have drop in their inbox, like through, through like a messenger, like through Facebook or Instagram, then you have a chance of getting them and reaching them on the phone. So that's like a little tip right there. You got a lot of people. There's a lot of people who won't answer their phone, who won't answer a text message, but the moment they see somebody pop up in their inbox, they're quickly responding. So these are just things you got to think about. I always talk about creativity and ways that you have to be creative, especially when there's a shift in the economy. I guess you could say economy, but just a shift in general. When things change, you got to change in accordance to that. So when times change, it's just like when times change, you have to change. When technology changes, you have to change along with it. It's the same thing here. Things have changed within the last 3-4 months, and people are going to have to make that shift if they still want to stay in business. They still want to make the money and hit the targets that they originally intended on hitting. If they still want to keep their jobs, and if they did lose their job, if they're looking to get another one, they're going to have to make that change anyways. If not, the other companies are not going to want to bring them on. I mean, imagine if you lost your job, you know nothing about technology, and you have one of the requirements now. You're jumping on board with a company, and they're saying you're going to have to do Zoom meetings, or you're going to have to start using social media. You didn't know how to do this before. So, I mean, that's what I mean by the shift and change. You have some people where they're going to be stubborn and they're going to say, I don't want to learn that. I don't want to do that. And those are going to, and then, for those of you that are going to be like that, who are older, you guys are going to struggle. You're going to struggle because you have to change with the times. We come across, look, in my company, we come across customers like that all the time. It's like, they've been in business for like 30 years and they're still doing things from 30 years ago. They're still doing things from 20 years ago. They've not made the shift. In some areas they've made the shift, but in other areas they're still doing things, in the old method. And it's not efficient. It's not, it's very time consuming because a lot of the programs and a lot of software that's out there nowadays, is phenomenal, and it makes things easier. And you have a lot of these companies, they're stuck in those old methods, in those old ways. And that's what I mean about making that shift. So when you have a person who's talking about, hey, I don't want to jump on board with Zoom meetings. I want to do things a different way. I want to call somebody up on the phone. Well, some people don't want to do that. So you're gonna have to go in the direction that we're moving in. You're gonna get left behind. And if you have a business, you could kiss your business goodbye if you're thinking about doing that. You got to adapt. The strongest businesses and the strongest companies are the ones who change with the times. The strongest businesses and the strongest companies are the ones who shift and make that shift and go with the flow. The ones who don't make it, and the ones who end up weak, and the ones who end up falling off, and the has-beens, you could say, are the ones that don't jump on board. They're stubborn and they want to stick to the way that they were doing things in the old methods, and they get left behind. They get left behind by competition. You have new companies that come on board that see and take advantage of things that they're not taking advantage of, and they scoop up other customers and they put them out of business. And I could throw tons of examples out there, and that's what ends up happening. So, look, that's pretty much it for today. I wanted to come on and just give those three things that I feel that people need to focus on right now. Like I said, there's so much negativity out there right now. There's so much distraction out there right now. Hopefully a lot of positive comes out of this. As far as the with all the events that are happening right now, with the protesting and everything like that. Hopefully things come out positive and things end up changing. Going with what I was saying, with the whole transitioning and making that shift. So with that said, you guys make sure to tune in, like, post, share, comment below if you liked what it is that I said. If I helped you, if I helped you out. If you guys don't, still like, post, share, comment below. And I do this every Monday. If you guys who don't know, my name is Danny Calafell. I come to you guys live every Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I talk business, sales, increasing income. I give you guys a lot of good tips, strategies, and tactics you guys could utilize to help, whether it be throughout your week, month, year, whether you have a business, you're starting a business, thinking about it, know somebody who's in business, share this with them. If you're in sales, thinking about getting into sales, or you've been in sales for a while, don't care what level you've been at. I always try to throw some things out there to help you out. And looking for ways to increase income. Maybe you're stuck at a job, you're stuck making the same amount of money, or you're looking to make that shift to try to figure out ways of how you can end up doing better than what you're doing. Again, I try to throw some things out there to help you out. I hope this reached you well. I will see you guys next week. Again, I do this every Monday. You guys were in Champ's Corner. I'll leave out with this. Your choices today are a reflection of your outcome tomorrow. You guys have a good week.